And we are live. Hey everybody, it's Will Middleton from LifterLMS, coming to you live from Minnesota. Let me know if you can hear me, if my audio is coming through, and let me know where you're calling in from. Today we're going to be going through LifterLMS questions from YouTube, Facebook, and other social channels, as well as anyone who's joining us live. Feel free to drop any questions you have about LifterLMS in the chat. We could share a screen, talk through any questions you have. We'd be happy to kind of jump into anything. And Kurt's joining me now.
I can't believe I made it in here.
Nice. Welcome to the call, Kurt. Me and Kurt will be here live for the next hour, answering any questions you have about LifterLMS. We're here as a resource for you. Prioritizing anyone who's joining us live, you can have your questions answered here on the stream. But if you just want to chill, hang out, and see what questions the community has to ask last week, that's cool too. How are you doing today, Kurt?
I was doing great until I went to sign into StreamYard, and I had to go and tell it who I was, and then I had to tell Google email who I was all over again. I just got back and forth and get this code, get that code, click this authenticator, do this. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be late.
No problem. But you're here now. And yeah, I guess the first question I had from the YouTube channel, let me throw it on the YouTube stream here and pull it up on screen.
I think we might have some live guests today because in Help Scout, I referred a group of people in the last 3-4 days to join this call.
Sweet. Well, if you're one of the group of people, feel free to drop your questions in chat. We're here, and it's much easier for us to go over those complex questions or multi-step questions and all that kind of stuff here on the streams. So if you have any of those longer form questions, we can kind of weigh in and give our opinions a little more than we usually could on email. But the first question today is, can I grade a course of 20 questions over a 3-month period? And if so, where do you explain? Is LifterLMS AI compatible? I've got to wrap my head around this question a little bit more. This was a video, a tour of LifterLMS advanced quizzes that I did a few years ago, that this was a comment on. Can I grade 20 questions over a 3-month period? I know what that means, like with grading 20 questions over a 3-month period. In LifterLMS, you have the...
You can grade these questions instantly. It's automated.
Right, yeah. It's like LifterLMS has multiple choice, picture choice, true, false questions in the free core plugin. Those are automatically graded. The instructor, when they build the course, sets up the, and I'm pulling up my site here in the background. They set up which one's true, which one's correct in a multiple choice. They set all that up, and then when the student passes the quiz or completes the quiz, it's automatically graded instantly.
I think when I see these types of questions, I for some reason, I instantly make it complicated. And I'm like, maybe they're talking about drip. Like maybe what they're thinking is, I want to make a course and I want to be super lazy and not check in on my students ever. And I just want the course to grade them over 3 months, which you could do. We have drip settings. So you could say, take this lesson, wait a month, take a second lesson, wait a month, take another lesson. And each of those lessons could have its own series of knowledge checks or quizzes or whatever you want to call it. And through those drip settings, you spread those results out over 3 months. That could be the question. The other part of the question that I'm just going to be blunt, it's been driving me a little insane lately, is people are throwing around this word AI like it's special. And AI to me is just another post type at this stage of life. I don't know what they mean by AI compatible. Like, can you use ChatGPT to generate content? Yes. Can you use the different automation tool in WordPress to insert AI from different sources like Bertha AI? Yes. Like Bertha AI and LifterLMS work phenomenally together. So there's all kinds of ways to use AI. I'm just not sure what. Adam Silver says, I'm AI compatible. So it's really hard to answer that question because there's got to be at least 1,500 different versions of AI out right now. I get spam every day asking me, if I want to just turn off my YouTube and use their new AI video source. So I don't know what the question really is.
Right. Is LifterLMS AI compatible? Yeah, I mean, if you generate your content for your course with ChatGPT, you can paste it in. You could use, like Kurt said, Bertha AI to generate content in the back end. You could generate AI images. It's just uploading an image. So you'd use AI, whatever software you're using to get your content, and then paste it into LifterLMS. I know there was a course thing on the Academy that was, I don't know if that's live yet, but they were talking about it, is academy.lifterlms.com. There's going to be an AI resource there.
AI course generation, where it's basically going to say, here's, hey, Mr. AI magic guy in a box, give me an outline that I could use as for a syllabus, and it would fill in the syllabus areas.
Yeah.
But realistically, that to me is no easier or harder than just making a stinking outline. Like just use the course builder and put in your concepts. What I like about using AI is sometimes AI will point out gaps in my own thinking. Like I might say, oh, I want to show someone how to build a motorcycle. And then in my mind, I skip right over the building the engine part, because to me, the engine's a component. Like get a frame, get a motor, put on some wheels, put on a drivetrain, and then put on the controls. Like that's building a motorcycle. And then AI might point out, oh, hey, you want to do this engine package or this transmission change. And I'm thinking, well, I wasn't even going to cover that. But AI points out that gap in that understanding. So for some folks, for a course creator, that level of AI filling in the gaps is really important. But again, it's just not a compatibility issue. It's a what is your use issue.
Right. And AI is just like an advanced form of technology. And I have a client I was emailing this week about like what social tools should I be using for my website? BuddyBoss, BBPress, Social Learning. What should I use? Or like a separate software. And I'm like, well, what kind of conversations are you trying to structure? It's like you don't really install these tools in your website and then a bunch of people come to your site and start talking in your forums. It's like more like there are conversations that are happening somewhere else or in a little bit of an inefficient way, or maybe it's conversations in a Facebook group that you're trying to migrate to your website, so you want to mimic that style. And so you might use a buddy press or something like that. But like the technology is used to solve the problem, not create more problems. And so like with the question of AI, it's like, well, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Are you like a course creator who can't figure out what you want your course to be about, so you want to dump in just basically a bunch of your own knowledge and just write an essay and then have the AI generate you a course outline off of that? Because that would make sense. That's your problem, is you don't know how to generate an outline, but you have a lot of expertise. So then you write the AI an essay and then you tell it to make you an outline based on that essay. You could do that. You could dump in like 2,000 questions. I don't know if you could do 2,000 questions, but there might be some limits on your AI. But you have 200 questions that are the most commonly asked questions in your audience, and you want it to generate you an outline based on that. That's a good example of like, I have a problem. I can't do 2,000 lessons. I can't do all this. How can you generate me an outline based on this data? Because the problem is we have way too much data. The AI can help you bring it down to a reasonable amount for a course.
You started to say something that was driving home a really valid point, and you cut yourself off. I'm going to help you finish that, because it was genius. You were really coming up with something genius. You were in the middle of saying it's like people see all these cool tools and they start to think about how they're going to use it. And it's super important to me. And you and I have had this conversation multiple ways and multiple times. You should let your tribe or your audience or your group or your whatever you call your association, you should let that drive the necessity. You should let that drive your use case, rather than trying to force a tribe that doesn't exist yet into some fancy tool you found. Like a lot of times people will buy BuddyBoss, and I love BuddyBoss, but they'll buy it and they don't have an audience for it yet. And then it just sits there dormant, and it feels like a waste of time, money, and effort. And it's like you want to have that audience or that tribe built first. And I think that you were really on the way to saying that, but you were saying it in a much more brilliant way, because I think you were even going down a different, more intricate pathway the way you started to say it. It was like, I picture people trying to build the shiny object syndrome that Adam's talking about. People see all these cool new tools or these new things hitting the WordPress repository, and they're like, I gotta use that. That's awesome. But they don't have any use case where that shiny object fits. And then they take this, what doesn't feel natural, kind of push to force something to be successful, and then it doesn't succeed. Because it doesn't meet the use case, it doesn't meet the audience, it doesn't meet the demand of what, or it doesn't meet the core message of what the rest of your project's trying to put forward.
Yeah. And I always view that as like rope and fire are pretty examples of simple technology. And it's like they're used to solve problems. Like the humans are cold, so they make the fire, and that solves the problem. Rope would help us pull sticks across the ground and climb trees and all this stuff. Like the problem is we can't access trees, so we need to get ropes and climb up the tree or whatever. It's like solving a problem that we have. But if we don't start with the problem and then we just kind of throw solutions into the ether, it's like nothing's going to stick.
Well, and the other side of that coin is ropes and fires don't work really well together.
Right.
What one is very specific in its use case to the other.
Right. And yeah, but it's just like these AI tools and LifterLMS and add-ons and all the stuff we produce are basically just more intricate technology solutions. So it's like if you don't have that demand for people who are trying to ask you about the information you have to offer, the problem isn't how can I set up an LMS to deliver all this information to the world. The problem is, can I build a valuable offering that people are going to be interested in? So you're like thinking in the terms of the validation phase versus the I'm going to build this multi-tool, massive social platform, like without any students. Like there's a couple of different questions to ask along the way there, but we could dive into that more if anyone wants some more specific ideas around that. But there was a question, how do I link each certificate to each course? There was a video we did about how to use the LifterLMS course builder, and this question is, how do I link those certificates to my courses? And that would be done with LifterLMS engagement. So if I go back to the dashboard on my website, under engagement certificates, this is where we created our certificate template. You can design these things however you want. There's a little bit of a starter template when you click add new like this, but you can change the background image, change the formatting, change the shortcodes and everything. But once you've completed your certificate and you're happy with it, you go to engagements, add engagement, and this is where you link it to a course. So if I'm trying to do a certificate for maybe my Quick Start course, when people complete my Quick Start course, completion certificate will say when a student completes a course, we select the Quick Start course. When they complete the Quick Start course, I want to award a certificate, and then I select which certificate. I would have created one there, and then publish. And so that's how we would trigger when a student completes a course, award a certificate. So that's how you bring it all together with the Lifter certificate system.
Yeah, I look at that almost like in the way of thinking about something. You know, when you try to add a CSV file to a CRM and you have to map the fields to come in, I look at setting up your engagements like that. I always think of it like I've got to create my certificate and I have to map it to my engagement in order for it to go out properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's that automation piece is a little bit unintuitive because you create your certificate and it's like, now it's not linked to my course in any way. But the cool thing with that engagement system and the reason it's designed this way is because you can do things in such a complex way where you could say when a student creates an account, award them a certificate, or when a student purchases a certain access plan, award them a certificate. And that might be a weird use case. It's like you don't usually get a certificate immediately when you sign up, but that's because certificate isn't the only option you can trigger here. You could do an achievement. You could say, welcome to the website, getting started achievement. You could do something like that. You could send them an email. You could say, hey, welcome to the website. Here's all the details you need to get started. You could really kind of customize this a lot, and it's very extendable. And LifterLMS is designed with an extendability mindset because if you had a developer who might do what kind of other engagements would you do? You might do text messages through Twilio, but what else? You could do like I don't know what you could do. You could do anything. This is like a bunch of hooks and filters. So you could have confetti like drop in on the page or something. If a developer built in like a little engagement for you, a custom coded engagement to drop confetti, you could trigger that on all these events. So a lot of extendability here, a lot of potential to build this out, but Lifter just has 3 main options out of the box. But then fire-resistant rope. Adam Silver. There we go. See, that's technologies. Like if you want to use fire and rope at the same time, there's a solution for you. But you don't need fire-resistant rope if you're not using fire and rope at the same time. It's like you don't need that solution if you don't have that problem. But I'm researching what platform to use to launch a yoga business online and with in-person classes. This is a helpful video, yet I'm still at a kindergarten level of understanding here. This 2-part is more challenging to set up than offering free or others. I'm looking for some direction on where to get started. Help, please. There was a video Chris did about building a full website, yoga website with LifterLMS and the Cadence theme. That this was a comment on that video. And so completely new user to WordPress at the kindergarten level of understanding here. I think you're in a perfect position to take Kurt's new course on our Academy LifterLMS site.
What a segue.
academy.lifterlms.com. There's 2 courses on this website that would be really valuable for you. The WordPress beginner course right here, tutorial for beginners. This is like the perfect place to get started to understand why WordPress is awesome, what is WordPress, how do you set it up, and this is going to be like the very basics. And in that video tutorial where you're sitting down for an hour watching click by click, you can follow along and build the website, but then you might not understand all the moving parts. And this course helps you understand a little bit more in depth about like, what are you setting up, what are the general settings and all this stuff. Kurt, do you want to give like a intro to this course?
Well, I just went and got my LifterLMS hat, so because I'm embarrassingly wearing the same shirt that I wore in that shot right there. So now I can give you this. Trying to give you the same look.
We can do a side-by-side layout where, what is it, like this? Nope. How do I put Kurt's face?
Nope.
I don't know how to use StreamYard that well. How do I put you on top? And then I do that. There we go.
And then I go like this.
It's like, remove the comment. It's like Inception, where you have like the thumbnail, the thumbnail.
The thumbnail, the thumbnail. Making this beginner's course actually had some challenges, Will, and that was keeping the damn thing on target and simple for a beginner. It's you just forget what it was like sometimes when you got started. And so I worked really, really hard at keeping the language slow, simple, methodical, do this, then this, then this, then this. And I think we came out with a really successful product here. So, I know Chris is happy with it. It felt natural to do it. Once I got into a rhythm and I just started putting the content together, it just made sense. And, could we go another step? Because this is a beginner's class, but I think it's valuable because look at that last question, right? We have a video that says, this is how you make, this is how you build a learning website for a yoga studio. It's a case to case equal, right? Because she said yoga. So it's like, we're showing you exactly how to do it. But because it's at a higher level of understanding in the WordPress space, we sometimes lose people. And so it's cool that, now we've got a product that says, hey, this is how we can get you from 0 to the next level. And then maybe take the, after this course would be the LifterLMS Quick Start course. And then maybe some direct webinars or tutorials on specific use cases to see what suits your use case best.
Yeah, for sure. Like that yoga building website assumes, you might know a little bit about WordPress already and kind of what you're putting together. So these are some great resources for you to check out.
And dude, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to be blunt. I'm feeling rather blunt today. I've made a lot of content already this morning. So maybe I'm just, out of Zoom exhaustion going for it. But if you're really good at yoga and you run your studio and you really love doing yoga and making money teaching yoga, teach yoga. Like nowhere does it say you need to become a webmaster and a yoga instructor. Like maybe you want to hire someone on the LifterLMS experts page, or maybe you want to find a local agency that can do what you want done affordably. And then they can focus on the back end of running the website and the payment gateway and the funding and all that nonsense. And you can just focus on running the business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's really out of your sweet spot, then don't force it. Find another option.
Right. Yeah. And if you're just in that validation phase of, I don't know, with the yoga studio, there might already be a lot of demand. It sounds like there's in-person classes already going successfully with this comment. And in-person classes, I would start with the in-person classes probably. Starting with the in-person classes. If you already have your in-person yoga going, you've got like 5, 10 people, 15 people, 20 people coming weekly, and they want to practice remotely. There's more people they want to share the content with who live far away. Now you have a problem. It's like, I can't deliver this content to these people who are, far away. People can't make it every week. I teach yoga to moms with kids, and so like sometimes family events come up, school events come up, they can't make it every time. Now we see, okay, we've got a few problems in the business, and an LMS could address these problems by having your online material organized. And you might be able to do something really simple, like even without LifterLMS, you could have like a Google Drive folder, and people PayPal you like a monthly fee, monthly subscription. They use Stripe, something like that, to get access to a Google Drive folder of videos. And that's a pretty primitive LMS setup where you basically are just selling access to videos. And then once you hit the point with all those videos, like people are looking at my Google Drive folder all the time. They're downloading the videos. They're doing all the stuff. You could even record Zoom meetings and then share them the Zoom meeting links if they're part of your paid email list. Like it's pretty simple to have like a email list kind of thing with MailChimp or something like that, MailChimp or ConvertKit with your email list. And then you're eventually going to get to the point where you have some videos on YouTube. You've got some your paid email list to get some of the premium videos. And then now you're at the point where you're like, I have 35 videos and my students are watching them out of order. There's all these problems. And now you're at the point where you need an LMS, because it's like, not only have you made a payment gateway to gate your content, you're now at the point where your students aren't getting it. There's like some timeline issues of like, they need to take these 5 lessons in order. They can't just go into the folder and look at all the videos. And that's where the LMS comes in to solve the problem. So I even think of like paid content and an LMS as 2 separate things. You could have like a membership. Lifter does memberships. And if you know how to use Lifter LMS, you know how to create all this stuff in a course. Like me and Kurt would just build it in Lifter because we know how to use it already. We know how to set it up the way we want it. But if you're at that kindergarten level getting started, I might even recommend trying to create a paid email list or like a Google Drive folder or something like that as a simple solution to test if you have demand for these online resources. Because if you don't have demand for the online resources, you want to figure out how to get the demand for the online resources before you invest in the domain, invest in the LMS, invest in all this stuff. But yeah, that's just kind of my advice for that one. And then how can students see a length of a video lesson when they look at the course? Can I add that somewhere? Length of the video lesson, that's a good question. This one comes up a lot, and there's not a length of a video lesson included in the LMS. What you can do is a bit of a clever solution here where you just go to this lesson title and you write in the lesson title. This way, however you want to do it, it conveys in the syllabus how long the course is. So it's a fair honest thing. That's my recommendation for including.
Your sound is getting weird.
Oh, that sound getting weird? I got to turn it up.
You're back.
Okay, cool. Turn it up a little bit. But yeah, so that's my recommendation for these types of setups, is to indicate somewhere in the lesson title. I don't know, Kurt, have you seen any other creative solutions for this kind of thing? I think that's the way to go, where you just put it right there in the title.
As soon as you were like sharing that, I remember seeing something in the Cadence Pro package that did like estimated the reading time for content. It didn't address the video side, but it addressed the reading time. So there's different tools out there, and you can always add third-party functionality to your package. That's not the obstacle. But out of the box, the easiest and simplest thing I can think of is what you just did.
Yeah, I think that is the way to go. Easiest and simple.
And it's really direct too. It's just right in the title, and it's going to come up right in the syllabus that way.
Yep. It will. Then jumping over to Facebook, I'll answer that comment a little bit in the background here. This is a good question. If I go to StreamYard, I'll paste it in the Facebook stream. It's going to take a second to post. There it goes. Can anyone help? I want to copy some of my course material to a course, but I don't want to hide the toolbar in the inline view. I'm a little lost already. I don't know what that means.
She wants to hide the toolbar. She doesn't want them to be able to, because I read this one further. She doesn't want people to be able to download or view off screen or something like that. So she wants people to see the document without the ability to download the document.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's like that view any document plugin, but without the ability to download the document.
Right. I thought the free version of the embed any document did not allow that. And of course, if you put a PDF on a web page, there's not really a way to prevent someone from downloading it. If they know how to access the source code or know how to use right click, they can probably download it. But
Yeah.
I thought one of these free tools did not allow downloading in the free version. I don't know if it's embed any document. It might be like some kind of PDF.
Well, Saeed had a really good recommendation in there, and that's why I didn't bother to add an answer to that thread. He said using a free plugin called the 3D Flipbook in a website will kind of like load it as a flipbook and not a downloadable file.
Nice. Well, my screen's not going to load, so I'll take it down. 3D Flipbook. I've never heard of that plugin before, but that sounds like a cool solution. It looks like that worked for her in the grid.
Have you ever seen that website called Issue? ISSU, I think it's what it's called. It has like it gives you like a little virtual library of stuff, and it's just ISSU. Yeah, I think that's it.
OUU.
Yeah, Flip Your Publishing. Yeah, and so it looks like you've been in there before because your links are purple. That allows people to have a library that they can do for free or for paid access through that website. And that's where I starting to get the idea of flipbooks and kind of like semi-animated printed content. I guess that's a way to say that. But they have some embed tools and stuff like that too. And that 3D flipbook seems to me that it would work very similarly inside your WordPress build.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And anything you can embed in WordPress, you can put into a LifterLMS lesson or course or membership area. So that's really valuable. Like if it doesn't have to be specifically compatible with LifterLMS, like you say, a lot of times there's a question of like, does LifterLMS integrate with this? It's like LifterLMS doesn't necessarily integrate with 3D Flipbook, but that doesn't mean you can't embed your 3D Flipbook right in LifterLMS without any problems.
Amen. I run into that a lot where people say, yeah, but is it compatible? And I'm like, sometimes I get confused. I'm like, what do you mean compatible? Because then I start thinking, are you trying to like do something? Are you trying to like automate something, like to make it automatically enter somebody into a course if someone downloads this flipbook? Like, is that what you're trying to do? And they're like, no, I just want to put the flipbook. I'm like, it's WordPress. Just put the content in.
Yeah. Yeah. And ISSU. Oh, yeah. Issue. Cool tool. H5P as well is another one of those interesting learning tools as to how you can increase that engagement. And there's one you put in here.
You and I both put it in there. It looks like, I don't know, because it's yeah. Anyway, that's off of Facebook. Is it worth investing in professional video production equipment? I get this from my clients all the time. I even have one client now that was asking me, if I use one camera that's mirrored and another camera that's mirrorless, can I edit those in the same video? And it just went on and on and on. And I was like, why are we so concerned? Dude, I think you and I are in the same boat on this one. If you already have the ability, the knowledge, and the patience to make really high-end, high-quality video, go for it. I mean, no one's going to ding you for having high-quality stuff. But there's a lot to be said for done is better than perfect, and to just get some content done. I mean, you just got a microphone last month, Will.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, let's just be real. Like you're in the space. You've got an active YouTube channel. You've done a lot of tutorials, you know, and you did it all, you know, staring at a laptop microphone and camera.
Right.
So there's you can do a lot without having to make huge investments. I go back to, where are you on the journey? If you're in a proof of concept, if you're in something new, then stick to a budget and just get some stuff done. Just get some content made and distributed. There's your cat coming in on screen.
Oh yeah.
And but if you've got funding, you know, if you've got customers and you've got funding and you're interested in the technology of raising that bar, then go for it. You're only going to make the product better.
Right. And I replied to that comment and said, like, if you're on the 0 to 10 student journey, or you're on the 10 to 100 student journey, or even 100 to 1,000 students, I don't think investing in your tech upgrades is that important. Once you're at like 1,000 students and you have like a high demand for this content, so you got 1,000 people in there, that's when it's like, worth it to start investing in tech upgrades. And like, now you're broadcasting to a much wider audience. So the marginal benefits that you're going to get, the 2%, 5% increase in engagement that you're going to get from having higher quality content is going to be 50 people, 20 to 50 people converting. Like now we're starting to see, like, if your course is like $100 and you're getting 20 conversions on that $100 course, that's an extra $2,000 of conversion value that you got from upgrading your equipment and getting a 2% better conversion quality. But if you're at like the 10 to 100 student mark and you convert 2 more students for $200 more, let's chew another remote. You get the $200 is not worth shooting your courses and spending an extra 20 hours on editing and all this kind of stuff for your course. But once you hit those bigger numbers, these marginal gains that you get from great tech become valuable.
Yeah, I hate to sound so weird about it. I want to start seeing people. It's the business side of me. I want to see you start making some money as quickly as possible. And money might not be your driver. You might be in it for a passion project or something like that. But passion starts to run out when money dries up. When things become a boat anchor or a weight on you or an obligation. It starts out as a fun project. They all do. But after time, these become obligations. You have someone that you're responsible to provide for. And so the sooner we can get people to monetization, I think the healthier the whole ecosystem is. Right.
As fast as you can go to market with your product is the way to go, in my opinion. And then once you there's no reason to like optimize your tech before you get good. I mean, it's like you do a lot of racing with like motorcycles and stuff like that. You have a big history in that. It's like the first motorcycle you get for racing doesn't need to be the high end thing you're going to have. You just need to learn how to balance. You need to learn how to turn. You need to learn the physics of it. And then over time, you'll want to upgrade to some higher quality machinery. But you're not going to get value out of the higher quality machinery upgrades until you have the skill to make it work.
Dude, I'm the guy that showed up with a pickup truck and a 10-year-old motorcycle at Pocono, and everyone else had 18-wheelers. And beautiful trucks and teams and pit crew. I was like, wow, this is what I could grow into.
Right. But even course creation, like at the beginning, when the first course you make might get like 0 adoption. So you don't want to put like 50 hours into your first course with recording, editing, setting up your equipment, and stressing yourself out over like this 25, 35, 50 step process that you're going to have to go through with high quality tech. It's like, just turn on the camera and talk about some of the answers to questions in your community, or download a software that allows you to record your screen. If it's like a screen recorded sort of thing where you need to show. At LifterLMS, we do all kinds of tutorials where we need to record our computer screen. But you could even do something like that with Loom, like a free recorder for Google Chrome.
Yep.
That
Loom, StreamYard, Zoom, Teams, all these tools that a lot of us have access to is able to make screen recordings at a fairly high quality.
In Zoom. Yeah. You just record in Zoom. The LifterLMS podcast for like the first 350 episodes was recorded out of Zoom. And now they use StreamYard because it's a higher quality platform. But it's like, if you go back and look at the LMS cast recordings, there's a lot of that in Zoom, and there's like the connection dropping and the connection breaking up a little bit, and the weird green box that goes back and forth to highlight who's speaking. But like Adam Silver said, progress, not perfection, right? It's like, just make that first step, make your course website, add your videos to YouTube, answer the questions, and then over time, that demand from customers and buying of your courses and memberships will fund the tech equipment that you'll need. But you don't want your audio to be terrible. Like, if you can eliminate background noise, you'd want to do that. But as long as your sound quality is good enough, it should be all you need.
Yep. No, I'm with you, dude. It's interesting that we ended up focusing on that this lesson because it's Christmas. This is a great time of year to buy somebody something that needs it. Like, if you got a course creator in your life, get them a microphone, get them a lav mic. I got this stupid, where'd I put it? That's how much I use it. Here it is. I don't know if you remember this, Will. You might have sent this to me. I won this from LifterLMS before I started working for you guys.
Oh.
So it was some kind of giveaway that Chris ran and sent me a lav mic. It's not expensive, and to be honest, it's not great quality either, but it's consistently mediocre quality wherever I'm standing, and it's good enough to use. In fact, I use this microphone is the one I used when I made the training content for the Marine Retailers Association. And that's a big group of people. I mean, it's good enough for that.
Right.
So, the cool thing about a lav mic is because I just pulled a Will. I just walked away from my microphone. The cool thing about having a lav mic is you can be mobile. You can walk around in a space while on camera, and the audio stays consistent the whole time. And so if you're using like a vibe board as your visual, if people don't know what a vibe board is, it looks like a big flat screen TV, but it's like a touch screen, acts like a computer. And so people might have that mounted on the wall, and they might be going like, hold on, let me bring this over here. And they might be like, hey, look over here and look over there and look at this and look at that. And if you're doing that and you're walking away from the screen and the camera, you want to have a lav mic so your audio stays consistent.
Right. I'm just writing that in the comments to reply to this on Facebook. The 2%.
That's because you're a rock star.
Thank you.
Now you'll be having your own training video coming out with LifterLMS soon. The way I understand it is we were going to link your video to that course I put out, but we're going to do it separate now.
Yep.
So that is how to use the full site editor. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, full explanations, like 20 minutes. I did like a multi-hour tutorial. I think it was like a 2-hour tutorial, something like that. Setting up a full website with full site editing, but that's like a massive thing. Not everyone wants to dive into a huge tutorial full site build to figure out how to use the full site editor. So it just shows you how to navigate it. And the full site editor is relevant for if you're using the 2024 theme with LifterLMS, if you're using the SkyPilot theme with LifterLMS, that new editing interface is the way things are going in WordPress. So that's a good 20-minute video to check out when it comes out.
Just this morning, I got introduced to a new page builder.
Oh, what's that?
I should be more clear. So just yesterday, I got introduced to a new page builder, and then this morning, another new page builder. So one of my clients is using a page builder called Nice Pages.
That's
what I thought of it too. I was like, what the heck is this? Because unfortunately, it's going to become a conversation where I have to say, what the heck was this? And it's probably going to get yanked out of there. And then I was on the WP Tonic podcast this morning, and he kind of surprised me talking about Ollie, O-L-L-I-E, as a page builder. So I downloaded a version of that to one of our test sites, and I wanted to see what it did. And it's pretty cool for people right out of the chute that are brand new. It sets up your pages for you. Like it'll say, pick the pages you want us to set up for you. Do you want an about page, a contact page, whatever page? And then it kind of formats those pages. And then it's a full site editor, block theme and builder. So you want to use their theme and their builder. That's what they're trying to get you to do. And then add their stuff. I'm going to be honest with you, man. SkyPilot knocks it out of the water, because you'd have to get the pro version to get the styling. Remember when Maxi Blocks came out and I said I like their pre-styled blocks?
Yeah.
It was the library that sold me on Maxi Blocks. Well, the in Ollie, there's style blocks, but you have to get the pro version to access a lot of that. So not a fan.
Yeah.
I think for these companies to find any kind of success like that, they need to have a decent library that's free, like any good drug. Give me a taste, man. Give me a taste. Don't hide it all behind the lock symbol, because if I can't experience a taste, I don't know if I want to pay the money for what's behind this wall.
Yeah, that's the like, it's kind of like a yes ladder where you have like the small commitment that leads to the bigger commitment, because someone pulling out their wallet for a $20, $100, $200, $1,000 course is a big ask, so they have to have some kind of an interest in engaging with your platform before that. For most customers, there are those customers. There's like 4 different, depending on who you ask, what marketer shows you how to break down sales funnels and thinking about conversions. There's a bunch of different ways to think about it, but I think like Jordan Belfort had this really nice framework for it, which was, I'm gonna completely butcher it, but you've had like the tire kickers who are just there to kind of shop in the market. They're not actually interested in buying. You've got what he calls buyers in heat, which are buyers who are ready to buy. They show up, no sales questions, maybe a few sales questions, but they're ready to buy. And that's going to be a very small percentage of the market. That's going to be like less than 5% of the people who come to your website are going to be like, yes, I'm ready to commit. I don't need to see the tutorials. I like what your program sales page says, and I'm ready to buy. But then you got your tire kickers who he said were like, I don't know, 20% of the market, bottom 20%. And you've got the people who are not supposed to be there, the people who clicked on the wrong ad. They thought it was something else. They're not in your market. Those people, you want to get out of your sales funnel as quickly as possible, because they're not even going to buy. They're not interested.
That's like 95% of my traffic.
But so you've got the people who are lost, the tire kickers, the buyers in heat, and the last people are going to be the ones where a lot of your conversion tools are the buyers who are like informed buyers or whatever. They have to see your email copy a little bit. They want to engage with your free PDF downloads. They want to watch your YouTube videos a little bit. They want to sit in market for a while, 3 months, 6 months. They want to follow you on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, YouTube for a while, and just kind of check out your content, check out your quality, and over time you'll be able to sell to them. Those are the people where it's like, once you hit eight touch points with them, where they see 8 of your emails, or eight of anything. It could be 1 email, 3 YouTube videos, 1 direct phone outreach. Once they hit 8 interactions with you, then their conversion rate goes up. So the buyers in heat show up, they walk in the door, they're ready to buy immediately. There's the the contemplative buyers, the research-based buyers who are going to follow you for a while. You're going to want to make sure you have a lot of touch points with those buyers. The buyers who are just tire kickers, you want to make sure you identify these different segments of people in your funnel appropriately, so you know what their buying behavior is going to be like, and so you're not sending a bunch of emails to people who aren't even interested in your product at all. So that whole mentality of a CRM and that more advanced marketing only comes into play once you have problems around conversions and stuff. Once you have an audience, you don't even need to worry about those 4 different segments until you have like 1,000 people on your email list, because you're just trying to see if you get likes, views, and conversions at all with your material. But then once you start to get those likes, conversions, and all that kind of stuff, you start to grow your course site a little bit. You want to start to segment these users so you don't have to pay a bunch of money for your email system, because you're not emailing the wrong people, and all this kind of thing becomes more important. Different problems for different stages. But what do you think about that, Kurt? Like the segmentation at different phases?
I think the more that you can be clear on your target and your segments, and the happier you're going to be. Like, for me, you got to stair step things. I'm always like, take a snapshot where I'm at, where do I want to go, what's the next small step, and that's constantly how I forge forward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wow, that's a big question. So this is a snippet of a question from a Facebook comment.
This is from La Rosa.
It is. And so I'd like to see CSS style packs for Lifter that we can install in WordPress, so I don't have to use Elementor, don't have to use Lifter Elements, don't have to learn how to identify things. My answer to this question is you should build it. Why not you build it and sell it? Because then it's like there's some money. If you want it, maybe someone else wants it too. And we can definitely add that to the feature request board, CSS style packs. I think with the LifterLMS aircraft product that'll probably come out in the first quarter. I don't want to promise anything. First half of the year, probably in 2023 or 2024. That'll probably come out with some more templated things, patterns and stuff you can use for your full site editing websites when you're using Lifter Skypilot or something. But then for more in-depth style packs, the real challenge there is like, what do you want your website to look like? People say, I want more control over my design, but like, what do you want to design? You want the progress bar to be like a rainbow? Do you want like the, do you want to do like 25% width on the sidebar? Because you can do that. Do you want to have like SVGs that are animated that you can place in different spots? Like, what does it mean to design something more? Like more options for borders on your syllabus block, more options for syllabus layout options. Like, we have to be a little more specific in exactly what we want to style in order to come up with that. And usually once you ask the more specific, everyone wants more control over the design of their website. Not everybody, but like probably 50% of people want more control over the design of their LifterLMS website. But then when you ask them specifically what they want more control over in design, they'll answer 100 different things. And so it's really important to have those more specific answers. And I don't know if there's been enough demand for specific styling upgrades that would make LifterLMS move on changing that. But the aircraft thing will have a lot more patterns involved, so you could get like a course template. I haven't used aircraft, so I don't want to promise what it is, but it's just more templates and patterns where you can get your header to look a certain way, your footer to look a certain way. But with CSS styling, that's more child theme territory or custom block territory. That market will definitely become bigger over the next 10 years as people style blocks, put CSS in the blocks, download the blocks, and then sell them. But yeah, it's really just like learning some more CSS stuff. And the devs at Lifter and the product team right now are working on some more higher level advanced stuff around customizing how access plans work in LifterLMS and things like that, rather than that front end design. I think yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like it's a bad question or anything. I think it's a good request. We can definitely put it on the feature request board, but that's where, if you're a developer in the community and you develop something for a client website, try to make it extendable and see if it sells to other people as well.
Well, I'm going to be rougher than you are. The problem with style packs, and I know that they're coming, and I know that, people are going to be on pins and needles to see and play with all the new shiny objects. But when it comes to design, nobody really knows what they truly don't want until you show it to them. Not a single thing that I've shown a client, without expressed direction or input, not a single thing first time out of the gate has it been like, that's amazing, that's exactly what I was looking for. It's always like, well, if it were orange and had rounded corners and a drop shadow and a silver line in the middle of it, it might be closer to what I was looking for. Like there's always something. I literally have a client where I opened up her design brief last week, and she was like, I want to take a look at changing the course page. And I was like, okay, because we're doing a no sidebar kind of minimalist course page. And then she literally had like 5 completely unsimilar examples of course pages that she liked on other websites. And I was like, so what do you want? Do you want a sidebar, no sidebar, 2 sidebars? You want the syllabus exposed, not exposed, a drop-down list, not a drop-down list? Like, what do you want? You want it light? You want it dark? You want it rounded corners? You want it square? You want it gradient? You want it solid? Because everything is represented in the examples provided. And I think that that's where, when it comes to design and it comes to website work, I think there's a huge mix and confusion, at least on the customer side, about design versus someone else's existing business. Like, I think people see an existing business and strong content and they go, see, that's what I want. And you're like, yeah, I can give that to you as soon as you give me the content that goes in there. Like, you can't just adopt or copy someone else's hard work. You have to have your own stuff. And I think that that's what a lot of people get distracted by. I think people mistake content for design.
Yeah, for sure. And the content that that you add in can be designed in and of itself. So if you have a Canva account or something like that, there are a lot of that design style can be baked into the assets and the content, like the fonts and the spacing and the white space and the pictures and all that kind of stuff. Like pictures and SVGs and PNGs and all the stuff you can export from a design tool like Photoshop or Canva is really, you can really go far with it, and you can really lean into that design a lot. And I think as we see more push towards accessibility, in the ecosystem, which we're seeing with like laws in the United States. We're seeing it with international stuff. Having an accessible website that's easy for screen readers and people with vision impairments and all that stuff to read your website, design and intricate design is going to become less and less emphasized. So it's like it's better to congest a lot of your design elements into image assets and then have your actual text on page not be like styled to death. Because if you do style it a lot, it could be hard for someone to read if it's like low contrast and all this kind of stuff. So it's like you want to have your images be the design pieces and then your text be relatively simple to understand and read and navigate on the page. And even for like the squint test, which is one that Kim at LifterLMS likes to use, where you kind of like squint at your computer and see if you can still understand what's going on the page, is a wonderful way to figure out if you have enough white space, how to introduce more balance to your page. Just squint and look at your screen and see if you can still understand what's going on, where's the call to action, all this kind of stuff are some great tools to use.
I don't have to squint. I'm in my 50s. My vision is failing.
We could do that. That would be a new product that someone in the LifterLMS audience could make, is a pair of glasses that, I mean, you've seen like the drunk goggles that kids put on and walk around to show what it's like to drive drunk. Something like that. Put a pair of those goggles on, like the design goggles, and then see if you can still read your website.
That sounds like a migraine in a box.
Right.
Dude, Adam had a good comment. He said, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. That's why I never rely on market research. Our task is to read things that are not yet on the page. I like that. And then he had a longer content that I can't fit on the window. But it says, you know, give the customers, some people say give the customers what they want, but that's not my approach. Our job is to figure out what they're going to want before they do. I think of Henry Ford. He once said, if I'd asked customers what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse. Henry Ford's also the one that said, we can make this car in any color you want as long as it's black. So, yeah, I think WordPress is so stinking flexible that we give people, clients especially, just way too much of a sense of choice. Sometimes from an agency perspective, you have to remember why the client actually hired you. It's because you're supposed to be the expert. And so sometimes we need to tell people that doesn't make sense, or why do you want that? Or that's going to be difficult to maintain in the future, or whatever. But yeah, design creep can get really out of control really quickly, which is a whole complete extension off of LaRosa's question. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Yeah. I think the biggest challenge, we should make a course on this at Lifter, is how to convince your clients not to worry about the design. And like,
don't worry about it.
Right. It's like step one.
Don't worry about
it. But that is an interesting point, is like, if you're below that 1,000 student mark, the design doesn't really mean anything in most cases. It's like the amount of conversions you're going to get from having an optimized design isn't going to be enough to make you more money to invest in the design in the first place. So going with these starter templates out of the box, even though they leave much to be desired, is like, I don't really think they leave that much to be desired when you're going from 0 to 1,000. Once you're on that journey from 1,000 to 10,000, you can hire brand consultants and design consultants and developers who know how to code accessibly. Like, you're at the point where the business is making you enough money where it'll fund the development of the design. But those out of the box Cadence, Astra starter templates and the stuff you'll have access to in Aircraft, I think that's the perfect vehicle to get you from 0 to 1,000.
Yeah, and let's not forget that people like to see progress. People like to see advancement. So if you go with a minimal viable product or a starter template up front, and then when you get to 1,000 users, unveil, a new design that's cleaner, crisper, and quicker, that's what people want to see. They want to see it get better. They don't want to see the same thing for 10 years.
Right. And principles in design change a lot. Like, as we see like a website, like, this looks such like 2010, such like 2015. So like it went over that 3-year, 5-year period where you go from 0 to 1,000. Even the things you're going to want in your design are going to change, and you don't want to invest like $3,000, $2,000, $1,000 into developing a nice design, having like not enough students care about your design during that period. And I think that's a whole I don't know. It has a whole psychological principle about other people. We think that other people look at us more critically than they do usually. And so like same thing with the website. It's like most people don't care as much about the design of your website as you think they do.
I just love Adam's comment because it reminds me of a customer conversation. Can you make the logo bigger? Okay, now you see that first part? Can we make that really bold, make it really stand out, make it big? Okay, let's go down. Okay, you see that next part? Can we make that bigger? Make it really bold and make it stand out? I was like, well, if everything's really bold, bigger, and stands out, then nothing stands out. What do you want to focus on?
Right. And in LifterLMS Sky Pilot, how you would make the logo bigger, you gotta figure that out. I go to my
bigger
template parts, patterns, headers, and they introduce folders now. So there's folders in WordPress with these things. So I don't want to duplicate that. I want to edit this.
You know, in the corporate world, the keywords that marketing uses is, hey, this really needs some sizzle, and this really needs to pop.
Yeah,
a little more pop and sizzle here. Well, did you have any ideas for pop and sizzle? No. You guys are the design experts. I was just really hoping to see some more pop and sizzle here. I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun with this today. You got me on a spot. I'm usually a pretty positive guy. I don't know why. I don't know why I seem so negative today.
It's all good. I'm trying to put a logo in here. No, that's not what I wanted.
That's not what I wanted.
I want it in this, not over there. I'm making progress over perfection. It's like we'll just put the logo in the middle. It's above the site title. So we'd replace site title. We'd put our image from the media library right there, and then we could scale it using our style options. And so that's how you'd make a logo bigger. And there's a lot of questions I get about how do we build a navigation that works? How do you build a header that looks good? And a lot of those questions come in from people who've already got a bunch of students on their website, and they're like, I'm trying to optimize, but they have the problem of like, my students don't know where to go. I get like 20 emails a day about like, I don't know what to do. Where do I download my certificate? Where do I do? It's like, so that's when it's like, okay, so now that we have the problem of too many students who don't know what to do, we can start to develop some solutions. But that's like, I wouldn't worry about developing those solutions before you have the students. Throwing up the simplest website you can, putting your effort into designing your content, not in a high quality for production quality, but just in terms of answering those questions. When people come to your page, do they have a good time? Do they have a lot of dopamine hits? Do they get what they came to the page to do? Once that's that 0 to 1,000 journey, is like, how do I match the intent of my customers and make them a great experience with getting the content they want? And then you could build the Apple website later, where it has all the animations and it scrolls and zooms as you scroll down the page, and it flips the iPhone around and stuff, shows you the camera. It's just trying to avoid that shiny object syndrome as much as possible. And speaking of shiny object syndrome, oh, you got Pop Rocks.
Adam got me some pop and sizzle.
Yeah, that's good. The course cohorts, I guess, is probably the latest add-on released by LifterLMS. I think there's some new stuff to come next year, but we'll see how that all works.
Cohorts and the question bank were kind of released near the same time.
Yeah, we could review those for anyone who's new to the LifterLMS community. 2 new features of LifterLMS. The LifterLMS course cohorts add-on, available in the Infinity Bundle or as an individual add-on, allows you to create a copy of your course for a specific segment of time. So if I'm running a course in January of 2024, quick start course, I can do that very easily with the LifterLMS cohort add-on. You can enroll now until January 1st. We'll cut off the enrollment then. We can set the time period. You can only access this course for the month of January. Save that. And then you can do visibility if I want to hide the previous course. I don't want to do that. But we can say you have this certain period to enroll and this certain time period in order to use the course. And that creates this sort of mentality on your course site about time-based courses. And if you do get that audience of like you're on the journey from 0 to 1,000 and you're at the 250 mark, you're at the 100 mark, you've got like some people in your email list where you've got like 30% open rates to average on emails. So you have like 30 to 60 people who are opening your emails, and you start to do like some low price courses that are cohort based. So it's like for the month of January, we're going to be doing this course. For the month of February, we're going to be doing this course. You start to release things like that. And hopefully you have a little bit of a higher conversion rate, but even at like a 2 to 3% conversion rate, you'll have 1 to 2 people buying up and taking your offer. You can set these periods and time-based courses to get people used to engaging with your content on more of a consistent basis, where it's like we have the January course, but at the end of January, this course is going to go away. So you're installing like the fear of missing out in people, where it's like they'll have to make that decision as to are they going to engage with your course now or not, because this offer might not be available in the future. And then you could run another cohort later in the year. During March, you could say, okay, we had some good success and some good questions with our January cohort. So I've implemented some new lessons based on the questions people asked in January. And the March cohort is even better than the January cohort. People who joined in January can get 50% off the March cohort. Go ahead and buy. And that's a value of segmenting, because you'll know who took your January course, and you can email them, say, hey, you get 50% off the March course. And then you email the rest of your list and say, hey, the people in January gave me some good feedback. So, we're going over the hour too, but just keep going.
I wasn't going to stop you because you were on a roll, brother. You're on a roll.
Oh yeah, but like I love the cohorts add-on. There's a lot to that one for an online course that is. But even when you're getting started with LifterLMS validating your offer, there's a lot that one has to offer you as well. But real quick, let's talk about question banks as well. So in LifterLMS and the Course Builder, when you are editing a course, if you have the advanced quizzes add-on available individually or in the Infinity bundle, you can set question banks in the settings to where you can say, I want to have a question bank to pull 10 random questions from my quiz. Now, my quiz only has one question in it, but let's imagine I put 100 questions in here and I want to pull 10 randomly. I can do that. And I can even get more specific if I want to. If I have like 10 multiple choice, 10 true false, 10 fill in the blank, we'll say 30 multiple choice, 30 true false, 30 fill in the blank. And so it's like broken down into thirds. I can say pull 10 of the multiple choice, 10 of the true false, and 10 of the fill in the blank, even from the bank of 30 of each. And what that'll do is keep it consistent. If you want to have, you don't want it to risk, if it's going to pull 30 random questions, it might just pull 30 multiple choice questions or 30 true false questions. So you can even be more specific if you wanted to break it down. So I want to say each student gets the experience, 10 multiple choice, 10 true false. You could do that if that was required for your setup. But cool. I think coming over the top of the hour, I guess, Kurt, do you have any final words for our audience? Key takeaways, what should you do next if you're attending this call?
Key takeaways. If you're new, jump into that beginner course and get a look at it. If you're familiar with WordPress and you really feel confident, you can skip over that and go to the quick start course for LifterLMS in the same academy. And then realistically, just get started. I don't know. It sounds like such a quaint thing to say, right? But it's like, just get started. Just make it happen. Just start doing something. And it's the end of the year. This is when people make their commitments or make their goals or whatever. If your goal was to release a course in 2024, now's the time to get started. Now's the time to get happening. And you can download the LifterLMS, free core plugin and have access to amazing tools to get started and try a proof of concept. And then we're here to upgrade when you're ready.
Absolutely. I don't really have anything to add to that. Check out the free beginner course that Kurt just rolled out, and get that free plugin and start trying out Lifter, start creating some and validating some offers for 2024. But thanks everyone for joining us on this call. We'll be live again next week at the same time. Is it noon? No, it's 11 a.m. Pacific time. 11 a.m. Pacific time. Oh, no, wait. Will we be live next week? I need to confirm that real quick. It's going to be the 28th of December. I mean, I'm good for a live.
I'm good for a live.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll be live next week.
How about you guys? Are you guys good for a live?
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
Let us know if you're coming or not.
Yeah. Let us know if you're coming or not to the next week's call. We'll be live again next week, 11 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday. Will Middleton and Kurt Von Onen from LifterLMS signing off. We'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Are you going to do the thing? You want me to do the thing?
You could do the thing.
I'll do the thing.